Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, good evening, everyone. You are once again welcome to this new video conference, Geopolitics, dedicated to current events international. In the news, Russia comes to hit in the strategic area of Dnipro, a key sector of the military industry Ukrainian. And this strike unpublished left NATO speechless, since ultimately they are targets strategic that Russia also aims at. And Russia is just hitting. We have seen that Ukraine also started hitting targets extremely strategic in Russia. The Russia is not going to sit back and cruise so arms. It is a society of drone production that was hit. His seat was ransacked, everything that was inside with. So within the framework of this conference, geopolitics, ladies, young ladies and gentlemen, it is of course this news that we are going to talk about. But before continuing, of course agree to share the video conference to the maximum. Put a lot of likes, it gives it enough visibility at the video conference. And always remember to leave your different opinions in the comments. For all those who have not yet downloaded the Moyen Express application, you have to go to Apple Store or Play Store. It has to be done. There you go. Let's go. In the depths. Yes, hits the Dnipro. You know, the Dnipro, it is a strategic region. It is the fifth front that Russia has opened. Who Russia? The Russians managed to cross the Dnipro Cape, which is what river that divides Ukraine in two. Russians will find themselves on the other side, and finally they will rush directly to Kiev, the capital, even if Russia is currently bombing Kiev as not possible, but that's it, the aerial aspect of the conflict, since this conflict has two aspects. The aspect land, where the military, the unit's elite, are going slowly, gently, and every day that God makes, it recovers localities and appearance aerial where villages and towns are bombed, are terrified. So it must be said that Dnipro is in eastern Ukraine. The target that was identified, that was struck, it is the main seat of the RC direction. The RC direction is specialized in the design and manufacture of drones of combat, reconnaissance drones, and drones naval attack. What does that mean? The recent success that Ukraine has experienced in the context of long-range strikes in depth on the Russian Federation, and of course the work of these factories' production of drones that produce several types of drones. So for the Russia strike these industrial centers, it is breaking the capacity for resistance and the military action capacity of Ukraine. That's why these targets are there. But for Ukraine, this strike is another hard blow, since, and it is necessary recognize that Ukraine has no, what are we going to call this? Ukraine has not a lot of military equipment, even if the allies promised to send. So they decided to send a lot of weapons, but for the moment, Ukraine does not have one as such. And which obviously means that, and the little that is there when it is destroyed, it becomes very, very complicated. And yet it is the strategy that Russia is pursuing to use. Share it with me, video conference, please. Share. It must therefore be said that the attack has caused powerful explosions and visible fires, and more them fires visible to several kilometers. So there were some explosions and then there were fires several kilometers away. Observe those who testify the depth of the Russian strike on this production unit. So the importance, what is the importance, the real importance of this RC company direction? It must be said that it is the key player in the military industry, Ukrainian. Yes, that's why Ukraine is very uncomfortable. NATO does not feel at ease comfortable, since many partners, Westerners, have contributed to making efficient and dynamic this unit of production. So it is a key player in the industry. Ukrainian military. These drones are used in the strikes against refineries and Russian energy infrastructure. This that I told you earlier, these are these drones that are used currently to hit the refiners, Russian refineries, and Russian infrastructure such as the railways, therefore the tracks railways. This is rail transport. We remember there is this just a few days on the side of the Russian Federation, and strikes massive have led to the shutdown of the rail transport. So this company cooperates with several research centers, Ukrainian, and this company receives a technological support from partners, Westerners, that is to say the NATO partners. So I have it, I told you earlier. And so according to some sources of components, foreigners would have been integrated into their model, which makes it a target priority for Moscow. Usually, Ukraine produced drones and missiles. But the type of drone that Ukraine produced could not reach such distances. This is why, since the beginning of the conflict, Ukraine could not even launch even 400 kilometers. But now here, components foreigners from the country's partners in Ukraine, they have introduces these components, which makes that the missiles have roughly a nuclear aspect capable of flying up to thousands of kilometers and without missing their target with really increased accuracy and also a stealth. That is to say, difficult to detect by radars. So Moscow seeing this, Moscow cannot not to stay quiet because it is from there they take the drones to strike at Moscow. The last we talked about it here a few times. We saw that Moscow had been attacked by 9 drones. Fortunately, the drones were shot down on the outskirts of the capital. I was so hot that Moscow is even go so far as to activate the planned carpet. Flights were cancelled. So what are the implications? Immediate of this strike. First, we must to say that it is the weakening of the Ukrainian drone sector. Ukraine is weakened because the largest unit of production of these drones, if it is hit and severely damaged, it will needless to say that Ukraine naturally loses its abilities to production. And so the destruction of the central headquarters disrupts logistics and production of drone. Experts believe that this could slow down drone delivery, long-range missiles to the Ukrainian army. And so the local authorities confirm massive material damage but have not yet given an official assessment of the human losses. As you know, still, Ukraine really likes to keep a little more silence on the figures or give untruths about the numbers. And so ladies and gentlemen, that was it, the headlines of international news. Please share it as much as possible. I come back soon by the grace of the Almighty with new news. It was, of course, the voice of your humble servant, the Samurai.